Guru Gauranga Gandhar Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupara Shritarishita Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Gurudev Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupara Shritarishita Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupara Shritarishita Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupara Shritarishita Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Shila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishta Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishta Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa No Gaudiya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dasa Gunath Sharda Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Vaja Mandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Jai Shri Jaiva-dharma Ki Jai Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. And today is Shri Mahesh Pandit Ki Jai, Shri Udharan Datta Thakur Ki Jai, Tadiya Shubha Tirubhav Titi Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Be nice to read a little bit about these two personalities, just so that we... Actually, do you think it'd be nice to do it before we start? Because we'll probably... Yeah. Let's do that. I'm just going to quickly share my screen and we'll... Let's see. Oh, let me share my screen. Okay, so where are they? Mahesh Pandit. Let's find Mahesh Pandit. Mahesh Pandit. I wish it was in alphabetical order. There is Mahesh Pandit. Okay, so how long is this? Oh, see, it's not very long. So let's just quickly read about it before we start. This is from Srila Bhakti Ballabha Goswami Maharaj's Sri Chaitanya and his associates. Srila Mahesh Pandit. Oops, let me make it bigger. And then we'll do Jaidvani and start. Okay. Srila Mahesh Pandit. Mahesh Pandita Shriman Mahabahur Vraje Sakha. In Vraj, Mahesh Pandit is Krishna's cowherd friend, Mahabahu. That's from Gorgonadesh Dipika 129. Mahesh Pandit is Mahabahu Sakha, one of the Dwadash Gopal, or 12 cowherd boys. His home, his Shripat, was first situated in Masipur, across the river from Jirat, on the eastern bank of the Ganga. When Masipur fell into the river, the Shripat was moved to Beledanga, near Sukhasagar. Here too, when the Shripat fell into the river, it was moved, this time to its present location at Palpara. This last move took place in the Bengali year 1334 or 1927 AD. Palpara is situated within the Panchanagar administrative block. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur mentions in his commentary to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 11, verse 32, that this final resting place for Mahesh Pandit's Shripat is in Katalpuli near Chaktaha. Mahesh Pandit is considered to be a branch of both Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some people say that he was the youngest brother of Jagadish Pandit, whose Shripat is in Jashra. According to this opinion, there were three brothers in the family: Jagadish, Hiranya, and Mahesh. Mahesh Pandit Shripat is a small construction in the site of an ordinary residential building. It houses Gaur Nityananda Prabhu deities, as well as Sri Gopinath, Madan Mohan, Radha Govinda, and Shalagram Shila. In front of the temple building is a memorial to Mahesh Pandit, his Pushpa Samadhi. Shri Mahesh Pandit participated in the Chira Dahi Mahotsav, the festival of chipped rice and yogurt in Panihati, after which he followed Nityananda Prabhu to Saptagram. He was present in Karadaha when Narottam Das Thakur came there to pay a visit. With great affection, Mahesh Pandit bade farewell to Narottam Thakur and became sad in his separation. That's in Bhakti Ratnakar 8:220. Mahesh Pandit, an associate of Nityananda Prabhu, resembled Nityananda Prabhu in being extremely magnanimous and devoted to the salvation of all fallen living beings. In his ecstasies of devotional love, he would dance madly. Now here's a quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 11, verse 32. Mahesh Pandit was a magnanimous cowherd boy of Raj. In his love for Krishna, he would dance to the sound of kettle drums like a madman. His name is also mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Vrindavan Das Thakur calls him a great soul, a Parama Mahanta, in Antya Khanda, chapter 6. His disappearance day is celebrated on the 13th day of the dark moon, the Krishna Trayodasi, in the month of Posha, which is today. Okay, so that is Mahesh Pandit, and then Udaran Datta Thakur. Udaran, how long is this one? Okay, I'm not going to read all of this because we need to move on with our reading. Like our, let me just, okay. I'll just read certain parts just to honor him. So, Udaran Datta was the best of the Bhagavats. He served Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet in every way possible. That's just a few verses away from the Mahesh Pandit verse in the 11th chapter of Adi Lila. This is verse 41. I think Mahesh Pandit's was verse 36 or something. Whenever the Supreme Lord Nanda Nandan Shri Krishna adopts the devotional mood and bodily luster of Srimati Radharani in order to become Shri Chaitanya in the house of Shri Jagannath Mishra and Shri Dham Mayapur, he is always accompanied by his eternal associates who join him to enrich his pastimes. Thus, Krishna's primary expansion, or Prakash, Baladev, accepts the attitude of a devotee as Shri Nityananda Prabhu, appearing in Ekachakra village in order to embellish Mahaprabhu's Leela. He too has his entourage of personal confidants who descend to this earth to assist him in playing his role. Nityananda Prabhu is Baladev Tattva. He is none other than Lord Shesh, the source of the three Purush avatars, Mahasankarshan's causal form, or Mul Sankarshan. His chief companions are known as the Dwadash Gopals, or the 12 cowherds. Thus it is stated in the Gaur Ganadesh Dipika, verse 129, Subahur yo vraje gopo datta udarana kyaka. Sorry. The cowherd named Subahu became Udaran Datta. What was Mahesh Pandit's name? Was it Mahabahu? I think it's Mahabahu. And Udaran Datta Thakur is Subahu. Interesting, huh? Subahu and Mahabahu both disappeared on the same day as Mahesh Pandit and Udaran Datta Thakur. Okay, Udaran Datta Thakur is thus one of the 12 Gopals. In order to assist Nityananda Prabhu's pastimes, he appeared in the town of Saptagram in the year 1481 AD, Saptagram, in the Hooghly district, near Trishbhiga railway station. Devotee Anadi Krishna just sent me something from Hooghly district, some Shripat of somebody. Anyways, his parents were named Shrikar and Bhadrabati, and they belonged to the gold merchant class. Any caste in which a Vaishnava appears is holy. The earth itself is blessed by the appearance of a Vaishnava. and his or her mother has achieved the perfection of motherhood. Vrindavan Das has written, Nityananda Prabhu remained a few days in Kardaha and then went to Saptagram with his troop of associates. The Lord stayed at the home of the fortunate Udaran Datta on the banks of the Triveni. Completely surrendered to the feet of Nityananda Prabhu, Udaran Datta worshipped him without any false pretense. The entire caste of gold merchants was purified by the presence of Udaran Datta in its midst. Of this, there can be no doubt. So that's from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antyakanda, chapter 5, and a bunch of different verses from chapter 5. Okay, then Srila Bhakti-Vallabha Tirtha Goswami talks about how we don't judge a Vaishnava based on their caste. Anyone who sees a Vaishnava in terms of his material birth is destined for a hellish existence. Subahu, Krishna's associate, Krishna's friend Subahu in Vrajalila, took birth in a family of gold merchants. But this does not mean that he was a gold merchant. He was an eternal associate of the Lord beyond the material qualities. One cannot understand the underlying nature or ontological aspect of the Lord and his devotees by using the gross or subtle material senses. One can only get a superficial understanding of their morphological or external aspect. The true nature of the devotee and the Supreme Lord is revealed to the surrendered heart. If Udaran Datta Thakur is merciful, one can understand his transcendental nature and his divine glories. Okay, skipping ahead. Skipping ahead. Okay. As one of Nityananda's closest confidants, Udaran Datta Thakur is called Parama Parama Patita Pavana, the deliverer of the most fallen amongst the most fallen. Thus, any jiva who takes shelter of Udaran Datta Thakur is quickly delivered from his material entanglements and attains the service of Nityananda Prabhu and Gauranga Prabhu's lotus feet. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes him as the best of the Mahabhagavats. And Vrindavan Das Thakur writes in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Udharan Datta is a great and magnanimous Vaishnav who has a title to the service of Nityananda Prabhu. From a superficial point of view, Udharan Datta worked as a manager of a big zamindar of Naihati. The relics of this wealthy family are still visible, not far from the Dainhat station. The village where Udharan Datta Thakur lived, while acting as the manager of the estate, was named Udharanapur. Wow, the whole village was named after him. Though he possessed a vast fortune, Udaran Datta renounced all sense gratification, dedicating all his sense activities to the service of Nityananda Prabhu. Being controlled by the love of his devotee, Nityananda Prabhu enjoyed the foodstuffs that Udaran had cooked. Bhaktir Dravya Prabhu Kari Kari Khai, Avaktir Dravapani Ulati Nachai. The Lord will grab the food from his devotee, but he will not even glance at anything offered by a non-devotee. Udaran Datta's Shripat is in Saptagram, which stands on the banks of the Saraswati River. One can still see the six-armed form of Mahaprabhu that he personally worshipped. On the right side of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a deity of Nityananda Prabhu, and on the left side is a deity of Gadadhar Pandit. On another altar are the deities of Radha Govinda and a Shalagram Shila. And below the throne is a picture of Sri Udaran Datta Thakur. After Udaran Datta Thakur disappeared, Janava Devi made an auspicious visit to his home. Okay, wow, this is such a long chapter. I'm just going to read this last paragraph then. Srinivas Datta Thakur was Udaran Datta's son. Their descendants have spread into many branches and today live in Kolkata, Hooghly, and many other places. Those who have taken birth in this family are doubtlessly very fortunate individuals. We pray that they abandon the superficial illusory family connection and establish a transcendental relation with him and take care in developing the birth site of Sri Udaran Datta Thakur. Udaran Datta Thakur left this world in the Shaka year of 1463-1551 AD on the Krishna Trayodashi of the month of Posha, which is today. Alright, Jai, Shri Mahesh Pandit ki Jai, Shri Udaran Datta Thakur ki Jai. All right, let's do the Jaidvani. I'm sorry, Mangalacharan. Then we'll begin our program. ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः श्रीसिद्धान्तसरस्वतीतिविदितो कोडियगुर्वन्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभातगगने योगोरसङ्कीर्तनाय मायावारतिमिङ्गिलोदरगतान् उद्धृत्य जीवानिमान् कृष्णप्रेमसुधाब्धिकाहनसुखां प्रादात्प्रभुं तं भजे वन्दे भक्तिविनोदं श्रीगौरशक्तिस्वरूपकं भक्तिशास्त्रज्ञसम्राजं राधारससुधानिधिं नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टां स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः वृषभानुसुता वृषभानुसुतान्वितवामतनुं यमुनातटनागरनन्दसुतं मुरलीकलगीतविनोरपरां भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविदुं स्मर गौरगदाधरकेलिकलं भवगौरगदाधरपक्षचरम् शृणुगौरगदाधरचारुकथां भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविदुं तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय देवी त्वां नायमां चरणान्तिकं भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताश्च कामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे I just want to see one quick thing in because Udaran Gaudiya in Chunchura, which is Umadidi's village, was Param Gurudev's main center. Um, yeah, as was his main one of his main centers. Maybe it was his very main center until he got Devananda Gaudiya. So I just want to, I know, and Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj would spend, and Srila Trivikram Goswami Maharaj would spend, I think, most of their time here at Udaran Gaudiya Math. So I just want to see, okay. Oh, one time Param Gurudev spent the entire Kartik month in Udaran Gaudiya Math. There's no description of the establishing of Udaran Gaudiya Math. It's interesting. But yeah, I mean, it comes up like 30 something times in, huh, anyhow. Anyhow, I don't want to take up more time, but it's quoted all throughout. Wait, what was that? No. Okay. Anyhow, let's continue on with our program because it's getting late. Sorry. Um, all right, Dandavat Pranams. Who's all here? I think Nri Hari Prabhu and Pavatarani Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Sarveshwari Mataji, Shri Devi Didi, and Nitai Mukesh ji. And let's see on YouTube and Facebook, I see Ganga Mataji, Brishti Roy, Vidya Lala Sadidi, and there are a few others, maybe Indira Mataji, I'm guessing, and I don't know. There's a few other devotees. If you write a comment, I'll see your name. So we are continuing our reading of Daśa-mūla-śikṣā. Um, Today we read the first part of chapter 16, and today we'll just continue reading that chapter. Um, but before we begin, I just found these summaries that Chandramukhi Didi, our god sister Chandramukhi Didi, that made for her. She did a Daśa-mūla-śikṣā course. It was very nicely put together. And for each class, she would give a summary of the main topics. And so I thought that would be a nice recap. It would have been nice if I used this from the beginning. But anyhow, we can start now. We'll just read a recap of what we read yesterday. So Daśa-mūla-śikṣā, Module 6, Jivas and Māyā. Actually, before we start, today I'm not going to go through all the verses because I spent all that time going through um, reading about Mahesh Pandit and Udarandatta Thakur, but we'll just we'll go through the first verse of the introduction verse of Daśa-mūla. Amnaya prahatatvam harim iha paramam sarvashakting rasabdhim tadbhinnangshangscha jivan prakriti kavalitan tarvimuktangscha bhavar Bheda Bheda Prakasham Sakalamapi Hare Sadhanam Shuddha Bhaktim Sadhyang Tat Pritime Vetyupadishati Janan Gaura Chandra Swayang Sam. So the Amnaya Vakya, the teachings of the Vedas received through the Guru Parampara, is our Praman. That Praman establishes the following 9 proven truths, the Prameyas. The first 3 is that Sri Hari is the Paramatattva, he is Sarva Shaktiman, and he is a Rasa Sindhu. He is the Supreme Absolute Truth, he is fully endowed with all potency, and he is an ocean of Ras. The next 3 relate to the Jiva. The Jivas are Sri Hari's parts and parcels. Conditioned souls are captured by Māyā, and liberated souls are free from Māyā. Right now we're on the 6th one. The conditioned souls are captured by Māyā. And everything in existence is a manifestation inconceivably both one and different from Sri Hari. Achinta Bheda Bhed Prakash. So that's all related to Sambandha. And now the Avideya. Shuddha Bhakti is the only path. That's our only sadhan. And the Prayojan. Krishna Prem is the only attainment. It's the only sadhya vastu. So that's Mahaprabhu's teachings on tattva in a nutshell. 10 fundamental tattvas, truths. Okay. So today, our verse we're going through is, let me remove, oops, what am I doing? A bit spaced out today. Here. Okay, so we're on verse 6. Let's recite that. Surupartarhinan Nijasukaparan Krishna Vimukan Harer Māyā Dandyan Guna Nikada Jalai Kalayati Tatastular lingai, dvividavaranai kleshanikarai, mahakarmalanair, nayati patitan swarganirayo. The illusory energy ensnares those living entities who are bereft of their true spiritual nature, who are absorbed in selfish happiness, averse to Krishna, and subject to punishment with the ropes of the three modes of material nature. Yeah, sorry. So the illusory energy, she ensnares those living entities who are Swarupat, Swaruparthar Hinan. That means who are they're bereft of their true spiritual nature. They don't know the true nature. They don't know their swarup. They are nija sukha paran. That means they are absorbed in selfish happiness, and they are Krishna vimukhan. They are averse to Krishna. And māyā dandyan. They are subject to punishment, to Maya's punishment, with the ropes, with the ropes of the three modes of material nature, sattva, raja, and tama. Guna nigada jalai kalayati. By means of two coverings, the gross and subtle bodies, and the chains of karma, which are filled with various forms of suffering, Maya drags these fallen jivas sometimes to heaven and sometimes to hell. So dvividha varanai, with the avarana, with the coverings, the two types of coverings, dvividha avaranai. What are the dvivida avaranai, the two types of coverings? There's the stular, and lingai. The stula sharir, the gross body, and the linga sharir, the subtle body. So with these two coverings, as well as with the the um, the chains of karma, mahakarmalanai, with these two things, yeah, the coverings of the gross body and subtle body and the chains of karma, nayati, she she drags the living entities, the patitan, that means the fallen living entities, to swarga and to nirayo and to narak, to hell, to the heavenly planets and hell. Okay, so let's that's let's sorry, one second. Let me just close this. Okay, so here's a summary of what we went through yesterday. Baddha jivas, conditioned souls, are subject to the control and covering of Maya. In his original nature, the jiva is an eternal servant of Krishna. His Swarup Dharma is service to Krishna. That's the jiva's very Swarup Dharma, the purpose, the function of his soul, of his entire being, is to serve Krishna. Eternally liberated jivas, Nityamukta. The eternally liberated jivas are very far away from Maya, and therefore have no connection with the material energy. They are fixed in their constitutional position, always serving Bhagavan and trying to please him. They are controlled by Yoga Maya, always in union with the Lord, so Mahamaya cannot touch them. The eternally conditioned souls, the Nityapada jivas, are innumerable atomic conscious jivas. They emanate from the rays of Mahavishnu's glance on his Maya Shakti. They are Tartasta jivas, they are marginal by nature. In the marginal condition, the jivas are very weak because they haven't yet attained spiritual strength from the mercy of the Lord. They are situated next to Maya and perceive her wonderful workings. Those who look towards Maya become indifferent to the Lord and are hence covered over and engrossed in mundane sense gratification. Bhagavan's bewildering energy, his Maya, punishes those jivas who are bereft of that service. These jivas are diverted from Krishna and are concerned with their own happiness. Maya binds them with the ropes of the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. She covers them with gross and subtle bodies, throws them into the miserable bondage of karma, causing them to repeatedly experience happiness and distress in heaven and hell, just like we read in the verse. This is pretty much the verse, right? Um, that we just went over. Okay. Why do some marginal jivas go to the spiritual world and some go to the material world? Independence. Krishna's quality of independence is also in the jiva to a minute degree. When used correctly, the jiva remains disposed to Krishna and enters the spiritual world, becoming empowered by Krishna's chit shakti to serve him eternally. When the jiva's independence is misused, he becomes indifferent to Krishna. Māyā pounces on him and covers him with two prisons, the gross body and subtle body. What sequence does the jiva have? Sorry, what sequence does the jiva become? What is the sequence that in which the jiva becomes entangled by Māyā? First, there's misuse of independence, and then indifference to Krishna, then the desire to enjoy Māyā, and then false ego that one can enjoy material sense gratification, and then five types of ignorance. And what are the five types of ignorance? Tama, moha, maha moha, tamisra, and andatamisra. Tama means not knowing anything about the spirit soul. Moha means the illusion of the bodily concept of life. Maha moha means madness for material enjoyment. Tamisra means forgetfulness of one's constitutional position due to anger or envy. And andatamisra means considering death to be the ultimate ends. Those are the five types of ignorance. And then Brajanathi asks, Shri Krishna is Karunamoy. He is overflowing with mercy. So why did he make us so weak that we become entangled in Maya? And then the answer is, well, Krishna is also Lilamoy. He is overflowing with the desire to perform pastimes. Then Brajanath asks, well, I think he asks, why does God allow suffering? Just for his pastimes, he's going to allow suffering like this? All material sense gratification leads to suffering. When suffering becomes excessive, it gives rise to a search for happiness. Discrimination arises, and then the tendency for inquiry is born. One then attains sadhu sangha, the association of saintly persons, whereupon shraddha, faith, develops. Then the jiva ascends to a higher stage, the path of bhakti. Gold is purified by heating and hammering. Being indifferent to Krishna, the jiva has become impure by engaging in mundane sense gratification. So he must be purified by being beaten with the hammers of misery on the anvil of this material world. By this process, the misery of the jiva's aversion to Krishna finally culminates in happiness. Suffering is therefore a sign of Bhagavan's mercy. What is the cause of the jiva's suffering? Becoming indifferent to Sri Krishna, the jiva becomes entangled by Maya. Through trying to enjoy his senses, he performs many pious and impious acts, even unknowingly. The result of his pious acts brings sense enjoyment, and the result of his impious acts brings suffering. We are the cause of our own suffering. We are the cause of our own suffering. If we plant a thorn tree and expect sweet mangoes, why become upset if there are thorns? Okay, we haven't seen that example yet, so I think this is coming. Yeah. All right, let's go to the chapter. Where did we leave off? Okay, yeah. So Rajanath asks, what harm would there have been if the jiva had not been given independent desire? And then Babaji, independence is a precious jewel in the absence of which inert objects are insignificant and worthless. So what makes, yeah, we'll just become inert objects if we don't have independence. That's, is Maya Shakti the cause of our misfortune then? Would the jivas have had to suffer like this if the omnipotent and omniscient Sri Krishna had kept Maya away from them? And then it explains this thing, how we have to be beaten on the anvil, beaten by Maya. How can the shackles of Maya bind the atomic? I actually kind of forgot where we left off. Okay, I think we left off here. Okay, so Rajanath asks, is Maya Shakti the cause of our misfortune then? Would the Jivas have had to suffer like this if the omnipotent and omniscient Sri Krishna had kept Maya far away from them? Babaji, Maya is a reflected transformation of Krishna's internal potency, of Krishna's Sarup Shakti. And it is like a fiery furnace where the Jivas who are not qualified for Krishna's seva are chastised and made fit for the spiritual world. Maya is Krishna's maidservant. In order to purify the Jivas who have turned against Krishna, she punishes them, gives appropriate therapy, and purifies them. The infinitesimal Jiva has forgotten that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, and for this offense, Maya, taking the form of a witch, of a pishachi, punishes him. This material world is like a jail, and Maya is the jailer who imprisons the estranged Jivas and punishes them. A king constructs a prison for the benefit of his subjects. And in the same way, Bhagavan has shown his immense mercy towards the Jivas by making this prison-like material world and appointing Maya as its custodian. Rajanath, if this material world is a prison, it also requires some suitable shackles. What are they? Babaji, Maya incarcerates the offensive jivas with three types of shackles. Those made of goodness, sattvagun, those made of passion, rajagun, and those made of ignorance, tamagun. These fetters bind the jiva, whether his inclination is tamasic, rajasic, or even sattvic. Shackles may be made of different metals, such as gold, silver, or iron, but that makes no difference to the pain that makes no difference to the pain of being bound by them. Yeah, like, does it really matter if you're shackled in gold or silver or iron chains? You're still shackled. So, yeah, ignorance, passion, or goodness, they're still shackles. Rajanath, how can the shackles of Maya bind the atomic conscious jivas? Babaji, Haribol Chatamai Mataji. Babaji, objects of this material world cannot touch spiritual objects. However, as soon as the jiva develops the conception that he is the enjoyer of Maya, his atomic spiritual form is covered by the subtle body made of false ego. That is how the shackles of Maya bind his legs. By the false ego, the subtle body. That's the first shackle, I guess, huh? The jivas having a sattvic ego reside in the higher planets and are called devatas. Their legs are bound by the sattvic shackles made of gold. The rajasic jivas have a mixture of the propensities of the devatas and of human beings, and they are confined in rajasic shackles made of silver. And the tamasic jivas, who are mad to taste the jadananda, bliss derived from dull matter, are bound in tamasic iron shackles. Once the jivas are bound in these shackles, they cannot leave the prison. Even though they suffer various types of miseries, they remain in captivity. Rajanath, what sort of karma, what sort of activities do the jivas perform while confined in Maya's prison? Babaji, initially, the jiva performs karma to provide himself with his desired sense pleasure in accordance with his material propensities. Then he performs karma, he performs activity to try to dispel the miseries that result from being bound in the shackles of Maya. Rajanath, please explain the first type of karma in detail. Babaji, the covering of the gross material body has 6 stages, namely birth, existence, growth, creating byproducts, decline, and death. These 6 transformations are the inherent attributes of the gross body, and hunger and thirst are its deficiencies. The pious jiva who is situated in the material body is controlled by eating, sleeping, and sensual activities, as is his material sense desires. The pious jiva situated in the material body is controlled by eating, sleeping, sensual activities, as his material sense desires dictate. In order to enjoy material comforts, he engages in a variety of activities of karma that are born of his material desires. During the course of his lifetime, he performs 10 types of purificatory ceremonies, punya samskars, and 18 other sacrificial rites prescribed in the Vedas. His intention is to accumulate pious credits through these karmas so that he can enjoy material pleasures by taking birth in a Brahminical or other high-class family in this world, and thereafter have godly pleasures in higher planets. Thus he undertakes the path of karma. In contrast, impious conditioned jivas take shelter of adharma, and impious acts, and they enjoy sense gratification sacrilegiously by performing various types of sinful activities. Jivas in the first category attain the higher planets and enjoy celestial pleasures as a result of their pious activities. But when this period of enjoyment ends, as it must, they take birth in the material world again as human beings or in other life forms. So that's jivas in the first category who perform pious activities. Now, jivas in the second category who perform sinful activities, they go to hell because of their sinful activities. And after suffering a variety of miseries there, they take birth on earth again. Thus, the jiva, bound in māyā and entangled in the cycle of karma, wanders hither and thither, seeking to enjoy sense gratification. Intermittently, he also enjoys some temporary pleasures as a result of pious activities, as a result of punya karma, and he suffers miseries because of his because of his sins. Brajanath, please describe the second type of karma as well, the sinful type. Babaji, the jiva situated in the gross body undergoes immense suffering due to the deficiencies of the gross body, and he performs various types of karma in an attempt to minimize these miseries. He collects various foods and drinks to assuage his hunger and thirst, and he toils arduously to earn money so that he can buy food easily. He collects warm clothes to protect himself from the cold. He marries to satisfy his desire for sensual pleasures, and works hard to maintain his family and children and fulfill their needs. He takes medicines to cure diseases of the gross body. He fights with others and goes to courts of law to protect his material assets. He indulges in various sinful activities, such as fighting, enviousness, stealing, and other misdemeanors, because he is controlled by the six foes, namely Kam, lust, Krodha, anger, Mada, intoxication, Moha, illusion, Matsarya, envy, and Bhaya, fear. All these activities are to alleviate his sufferings. Thus, the entire life of the bewildered jiva is wasted in trying to fulfill his desires and avoid suffering. Rajana, wouldn't Maya's purpose have been served if she had only covered the jiva with the subtle body? Babuji, the gross body is also necessary because the subtle body cannot perform work. Desires develop in the subtle body because of the activities that the jiva performs in his gross body, and the jiva receives another gross body that is suitable to fulfill those desires. Rajanath, what is the connection between karma and its fruits? According to the Mimamsa school of thought, Ishvar cannot award the fruits of karma because he is only an imaginary object. The followers of this school say that performing karma produces a tattva called apurva, and this apurva gives the fruits of all the karmas. Is this true? Babaji, the followers of the Mimamsa school do not know the actual meaning of the Vedas. They have a very basic understanding that the Vedas generally prescribe various types of sacrifices, and they have concocted a philosophy based on this. But their doctrine is not found anywhere in the Vedas. On the contrary, the Vedas state very clearly that Ishvar awards all fruits of karma. For example, Shvetashvatar Upanishad 4.6, Mundaka Upanishad 3.1.1, and the Rig Veda 164.21 state, Tva suparna sayuja sakaya samanam vriksham parishashvajate tayor anya pipalam swadvatyanashnan anyo pichakashit. The meaning is Kshira, Daksha, Vishnu, and the Jiva are residing in this temporary body like two friendly birds in a peepal tree. One of these birds, of these two birds, one, the Jiva, tastes the fruits of the tree according to his karma, while the other, Paramatma, does not taste the fruits, but simply observes as a witness. The purport of this shloka is that this material world or material body, is like a peepal tree in which two birds are perched. One of these is the conditioned jiva, and the other is his friend Ishvar, Paramatma. The first bird tastes the fruits of the tree, while the other bird simply watches him. This means that the jiva, who is bound by Māyā, performs karma and enjoys the fruits that Ishvar, the Lord of Māyā, awards according to the jiva's karma. This pastime of Sri Bhagavan continues until the jiva turns towards him. Now, where is the apurva of the followers of Mimamsa philosophy here? Think about this yourself. Godless doctrines can never be complete and perfect in all respects. Rajanath, why have you said that karma is beginningless? Babaji, the root of all karma is the desire to perform karma. And the root cause of this desire is avidya, ignorance. Avidya is forgetfulness of the truth that I am the eternal servant of Krishna. And it does not have its origin in Interesting. Okay. Avidya is forgetfulness of the truth that I am Krishna's eternal servant, and it does not have its origin in mundane time. Rather, it originates in the tatastha junction of the spiritual and material worlds. That is why karma does not have its beginning in mundane time, and is therefore called beginningless. Rajanath, what is the difference between Māyā and avidya? Right, because Māyā means that which is not, and avidya means ignorance. So what's the difference between Māyā and avidya? Hare Krishna, Madhusudan Prabhu. Babaji, Māyā is a Shakti of Krishna. Shri Krishna has created the material universe through her and has instigated her to purify the jivas who are averse to him. Māyā has two aspects, avidya and pradhan. Avidya is related to the jivas, whereas pradhan is related to inert matter. The entire inert mundane world has originated from pradhan, whereas the jiva's desire to perform material activity originates in avidya. There are also two other divisions of Māyā, namely vidya, knowledge, and avidya, forgetfulness, both of which are related to the jiva. Avidya binds the jiva, whereas vidya liberates him. The faculty of avidya, of ignorance, keeps working as long as the aparadhi jiva, as the offender living entity, continues to forget Krishna. But when he has become favorable to Krishna, this is replaced by the faculty of vidya. Brahma Gyan and so on are only particular activities of the fruit of knowledge. Brahma Gyan and so on are only particular activities of the faculty of knowledge, vidya vritti. When discrimination first develops, the jiva tries to engage in auspicious activities. And when discrimination has matured, spiritual knowledge manifests. Avidya covers the jiva, and vidya removes that covering. Rajanath, what is the function of the pradhan? Okay, so the two aspects of Māyā is avidya and pradhan. So we heard about avidya. Now, what is the function of pradhan? When Ishvar's endeavor, represented by time, by kal, stimulates Māyā prakriti, it first creates the unmanifest aggregate of the material elements, that mahat tattva. Matter, dravya, is created by the stimulation of the faculty of Māyā called pradhan. False ego, ahankar, is born from a transformation of mahat tattva. And space, akash, is created from the tamasic transformation of the false ego. Air is created from a transformation of space, and fire is created from a transformation of air. Water is then created by the transformation of fire, and earth is created by the transformation of water. This is how the material elements are created. They are called the five gross elements. They are called the Pancha Mahabhutas. Now here how the five sense objects, the Pancha Tamatara, are created. Oh yeah, Pancha Tanmatara. Sorry. Yeah, so here how these five sense objects are created. Kala, time, stimulates the faculty of Prakriti called avidya and creates the tendencies within the Mahatattva. Sorry, I'm starting to get tired all of a sudden. Kala, time, stimulates the faculty of Prakriti called avidya and creates the tendencies within the Mahatattva for karma and gyan. Mhm. When the karma propensity, when the propensity to perform, well, yeah, sorry, when the karma propensity of Mahatattva is transformed, it creates knowledge, gyan, and activities, kriya, from sattva and raja gunas respectively. Mahatattva is also transformed to become ahankar, false ego. Intelligence, buddhi, is then created from a transformation of ahankar. Then sound, shabda, which is the property of space, is created from a transformation of buddhi. The property of touch, sparsha, is created from the transformation of sound, and it includes both touch, quality of air, um, and sound, quality of. Sorry, I need to stand up. The property of touch, of sparsha, is created from the transformation of sound, and it includes both touch, quality of air, sound, and quality of space. Pran, life air, oja, energy, and bal, strength, are created from this quality of touch. From a transformation of touch, the property of form and color in illuminating objects is generated. Fire has three qualities, namely form, touch, and sound. When this quality is transformed by time, it is transformed into the four qualities, taste, ras, form, touch, and sound in water. When they are further transformed, the result is the five qualities in earth, which are smell, that's gandha, taste, form, touch, and sound. All the activities of the transformation take place by the appropriate aid of the Purush in his form of consciousness, Chaitanya. There are three kinds of ahankar, three kinds of false ego. There's Vaikarika, that means sattvika, Taijasa, that means rajasic, and tamas. The material elements are born from sattva ahankar, and the 10 senses are born from the rajasic ahankar. There are two types of senses, those for acquiring knowledge, gyan indriya, and the working senses, karma indriya. The eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin are the five senses for acquiring knowledge, and the speech, hands, feet, anus, and genital are the five working senses. Even if the five gross elements, the Pancha Mahabhuta, combine with the subtle elements with the Shukshma Bhuta, there is still no activity unless the atomic conscious jiva enters into them. As soon as the Anuchit jiva, who is a localized particle within the ray of Bhagavan's glance, enters into the body made of Mahabhuta and Shukshma Bhuta, of the gross and subtle elements, all entities are set into motion. Yes, as soon as the atomic jiva, as soon as a tiny atomic spiritual jiva enters into the body made of gross and subtle elements, then all the activities of that jiva are set into motion. The sattvic and rajasic guns become fit to function when they combine with tamasic objects that are a transformation of pradhan. One should deliberate on the functions of avidya and pradhan in this way. Okay, so there are 24 elements of Maya. There are the five gross elements, the five Mahabhutas, namely earth, water, fire, air, and space. The 5 sense objects, namely smell, taste, form, touch, and sound. The 5 senses for acquiring knowledge. The 5 working senses. There's the mind, intelligence, chitta, and ahankar. These are the 24 elements of material nature. The atomic conscious jiva who enters into the body made of 24 elements is the 25th element, and Paramatma Ishvar is the 26th. We have 4 more minutes to read. Rajanath, please tell me, how much of the human body, whose size is 3.5 cubits, 7 spans, is occupied by the subtle cover, and how much by the gross cover? And in which part of the body does the conscious jiva reside? Babaji. The 5 gross elements, the 5 sense objects, the panchatanmatra, and the 10 senses altogether comprise the gross body. The 4 elements, mind, intelligence, chitta, and ahankar, they form the subtle body, or linga sharir. The conscious jiva is the one who falsely relates to the body and objects related to the conscious jiva is the one who falsely relates to the body and objects related to the body as I and mine. And due to that misidentification, that jiva has forgotten his true nature. He is extremely subtle and beyond mundane space, time, and qualities. In spite of being very subtle, he pervades the entire body, just as the pleasurable effect of a minute drop of Hari Chandan spreads all over the body when it is applied to one part. So in the same way, the atomic jiva too is the knower, he is the kshetragya of the whole body and the experiencer of its pains and pleasures. Bhagavan pervades all creation, all the universes, everything, and the jiva just pervades the tiny gross body that he's been put into. So Rajanath, if the jiva performs karma and experiences pains and pleasures, where is the question of Ishwar's active involvement? Babaji. Babaji. Jiva is the instrumental cause, and when he performs karma, Ishwar acts as the efficient cause and arranges for the Ishwar acts as the efficient cause and arranges for the fruits of the karma that the jiva is eligible to enjoy. Ishwar also arranges for the future karma for which the jiva has become eligible. In short, Ishwar awards fruits, while the jiva enjoys them. How many types of Baddha jivas are there? Rajanath asks. Babaji, there are 5 kinds, namely those whose consciousness is completely covered. There's the achadita chetana. Those whose consciousness is shrunken or contracted, sankuchita chetana. And those whose consciousness is budding slightly, mukulita chetana. Those with a developed consciousness, vikasita chetana. And those with a fully developed consciousness, purna vikasita chetana. So now Rajanath asks, which jivas have completely covered consciousness? And Babaji says, these jivas are the jivas with the bodies of trees, creepers, grass, stone, and so on, who have forgotten service to Krishna. And they are so engrossed in the material qualities of Maya that they no longer appear to be sentient. There's only a slight indication of their sentience through the 6 transformations. This is the lowest stage of the jiva's fall, and this fact is corroborated by the epic stories of Ahalya, Yamalarjuna, and Saptatala. Yeah, we know all those stories, right? I don't need to read this. Okay, I'll just read my Gurudev's. My Gurudev gives a description. No, I'm not going to read this. It's too long. Sorry. Maybe I can read it another time. But it's already 8 o'clock. So, One only reaches this stage because of some grave offense of having completely covered consciousness. And one can only be delivered from this condition by Krishna's mercy, having taken birth as a tree or like that. Then Rajanath asks, what jivas have contracted consciousness? Beasts, birds, snakes, fish, aquatics, mosquitoes, and various other similar creatures have shrunken or contracted consciousness. The consciousness of these jivas is apparent to some degree, unlike that of the jiva in the previous group, whose consciousness is completely covered. For example, these jivas perform activities such as eating, sleeping, free movement, and quarreling with others for things that they consider their property. They also show fear, and they become angry when they see injustice. However, they have no knowledge of the spiritual world. Even monkeys have some scientific understanding in their mischievous minds, for they have some idea of what will or will not happen in the future. And they also have the quality of being grateful. Some animals have good knowledge about various objects too. But despite all these attributes, they do not have a propensity for inquiring about Bhagavan. So their consciousness is contracted. It is said in Shastra that Maharaj Bharat still had knowledge of the names of Bhagavan, even while he was in the body of a deer. But this is unusual. It only happens in special cases. Bharat and King Nriga had to take birth as animals because of their offenses, and they were delivered when their offenses was nullified by Bhagavan's mercy. And we'll finish after this thing about the different stages of consciousness. So, Vrajanath, which jivas have slightly budding consciousness? Mukulita Chetan. Babaji, conditioned jivas with human bodies fall into three categories. Those with slightly budding consciousness, Mukulita Chetan. Those with developed consciousness, Vikasita Chetana. And those with fully developed consciousness, Purna Vikasita Brahma. Purna Vikasita Chetana. Generally, the human race can be divided into 5 groups. There are the immoral atheists, the moral atheists, the moral theists who have both morals and faith in Ishvar, those who are engaged in sadhan bhakti, and those who are engaged in bhav bhakti. Those are the five groups of the human race. Immoral atheists, immoral atheists, moral theists, those who are engaged in sadhan, those who are engaged in bhav bhakti. Those who are knowingly or unknowingly atheists are either immoral or moral atheists. When a moral person develops a little faith in Ishvar, he is called a moral theist. Those who develop interest in sadhan bhakti according to the tenets of Shastra are called sadhan bhaktas. And those who have developed some unalloyed love for Ishvar are called bhav bhaktas. Both immoral and moral atheists have slightly budding consciousness. Moral theists and sadhan bhaktas have developed consciousness, and the bhav bhaktas have fully developed consciousness. Then we're at the end. This is it. So Vrajanath asks, how long do the bhav bhaktas stay bound in Maya? Babaji, I will answer that question when I explain the 7th shloka of Daśa-mūla. Now it is quite late, so kindly return to your home. Vrajanath returned home, contemplating all the tattvas he had heard. Thus ends the 16th chapter of Jaiva-dharma, entitled Prameya, Jivas Possessed by Māyā. Maybe we could read about the examples of fully covered consciousness that my Gurudev gives tomorrow. Yeah. All right. So tomorrow we will begin chapter 17, Prameya, Jivas Free from Māyā. I'll also do a little recap of the whole drama going on in Rajanath's life with his mother trying to arrange his marriage. All right. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Sorry, my reading was not so nice today because I was falling asleep, and so I was going a little bit monotone. But um, we'll do a recap of what we read today, tomorrow. So, all right. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vikagiri Dhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju ki Jai. Jai Shila Guru Dev ki Jai. Jai Shila Param Guru Dev ki Jai. Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. स्वपार्षद जी गौर नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीगण की जय श्री गिरिराज महाराज की जय श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय श्री भक्ति देवी की जय श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय जय श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय जय श्री जैव धर्म की जय रघुनाथ रघुनाथ दास बाबा जी की जय Jai Shri what's I Mahesh Pandit ki Jai. Jai Shri Udaran Datta Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Uh, Krishna's associates Mahabahu and Subahu ki Jai. The Dwadash Gopal, Nityananda's Dwadash Gopal ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashcha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Sorry, I had a very late night last night, and so that's why I've been so tired today. But yeah. All right, I'll see you all for tomorrow to go through the next chapter. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much for joining. Dandavat pranams, Niri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Pradumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Chatamai Mataji, Sri Devi Didi, Sarveshwari Mataji, and Ganga Mataji, Brishti Roy, Vidyalala Sadidi, Madhusudan Prabhu, Champak Mataji, and all the other devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook, and also devotees watching in the future. Thank you so much for joining. See you all tomorrow. Does anybody have anything they want to mention before I end our stream today? All right. See you tomorrow.